Welcome back, rock stars, to another episode of From the Vault. This time we're going to be spinning it a little bit differently. We're going to be going back to something I don't do often enough on this channel. I like to call it the custom corner. Catch you up to speed. Not only do I buy action figures, mess with action figures, review action figures for YouTube for all of you people out there, but sometimes I actually do like to take some old ones and fix them up a little bit, make them shiny and new. Sometimes I do a full repaint, sometimes I mix and match parts. You know, I'm nowhere near as good at it as a lot of you folks out there. I check out your channels and I'm just, I suck, you guys are cool, but I'm getting there. Little by little I'm getting there. And so I've actually worked on a ton of different figures, but I'm really bad at finishing stuff once I started. So I got like a couple dozen figures in various states. Over time we're going to go over all of them. I'm sure that's kind of why I'm doing them, is to show them off for you guys. But I worked with a lot of different stuff. I've worked with Mattel DC figures, Jakks, and LJN, WWF, WWE. Those are really fun to work with. So there's a lot that we're going to be talking about, but today specifically I wanted to go over one of my favorite customs I've done so far. It was really easy to do, so if any of you guys watching are interested in adding this particular figure to your collection, it's super easy and I definitely encourage it. You might even do better than I did. Might be tough to do that. We'll see. You know, not that I'm just saying, sometimes I'm okay. So what we're going to be looking at today is my custom Jakks Deluxe Aggression Halloween Havoc 1996 Kevin Nash. So if you know your NWO history, Halloween Havoc 96 was the first time where Nash wrestled in WCW wearing the black, red, and silver attire that he would be known for a while after that. He came in wearing the red and black because, you know, Vince's lawyers threw a fit. He waited a while and then he went right back to the black, which I thought he always looked better in. Anyway, so Jakks did a lot of Kevin Nash figures over the years between WWF, WWE, later on the TNA line. So Jakks had a lot of swings at Kevin Nash. Some of them were really great, some of them were not so great, some of them were fucking awful. I mean, I'm a huge Kevin Nash fan if you know me at all, and every time a new figure would be announced I'd be so excited, and then it was like, sometimes, you know, they never really got it 100%, but towards the end they got really close. I liked the Classic Superstars Diesel. That was huge. That was like the best I think they did. And then a lot of his TNA heads were really good too. But one figure I always wanted Jakks to do, and I don't think they ever did, was the Halloween Havoc 96 outfit. It looked really cool with the black and the red and silver NWO logo on the chest. Really striking, dynamic attire. He wore it a lot in 96, 97, and into 98, but Jakks didn't get a swing at it. Mattel recently did. I have that figure. I have it in a box somewhere. I was going to dig it out for comparison, but yeah, that figure is fucking awesome. It's one of my favorites in my collection. Mattel really nailed the fucking hell out of that figure. I got the Scott Hall that goes with it. Mattel's been doing great lately. I love their WWE stuff, especially their Legends. But yeah, Jakks, they did a lot of different Kevin Nash figures, but they didn't do my favorite. I was left wanting. So I took matters into my own hands and kind of did what I could to make it really special, and this is what I came up with here. So if you remember what he looked like at Halloween Havoc 1996, this is it right here. See, we've even got the red stripe going down the pants and the silver, you know, dotted rivets. I just did them with paint. If you have a lot of free time, you could probably take some epoxy sculpt and put a bunch of little dots going down his leg. I thought about it. I still may. I could if I want to. I just was lazy that day. I got this figure done in just a couple hours, literally. That's one of the coolest things about this figure, is it's really easy to make. Okay, just with a couple two different figures and a little bit of model paint, you could totally fix this guy up perfect. Now, let me show you what I started with. That glare might be a problem on that light, just to let you know. So this is the figure that I started with. This is the TNA Deluxe Impact Series 3 Kevin Nash. Other figures in that series included Jay Lethal, Shark Boy, Sting, Matt Morgan, and Velvet Sky. So yeah, this was a great Nash figure, very current to the year of release, which was 2010. Alright, so I took this figure to start with. I bought him loose, okay, that's what I did there. And I got this figure, by the way, at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, Englishtown Flea Market, Englishtown, New Jersey, the Blue Building. Check them out. Tell them Rikki Roxx sent you. You can get stuff like this all weekend long, every weekend, 8 to 3. Go check them out. Love those guys. Love them. So yeah, that's the figure I started with. Really great Kevin Nash figure. Great articulation, like all the Deluxe Aggression, Deluxe Impact. Sometimes the chest kind of sticks a little bit. A lot of the joints are tight, but you get a lot of articulation out of these figures. Ironically, the action figure is a lot more jointed and mobile than the real Kevin Nash ever was, but I mean, hey, that works to your favor when you're playing with the toys, right? So again, what I did is very simply took the head off, replaced it with a WWE Jakks Classic Superstars Diesel head. As I said, that head is like probably the best that they ever did on Kevin Nash. And so I went over the beard and the hair with another layer of black, and then I dry brushed it with some brown, dark brown, to give it some texture, because he was going with kind of like a, you know, he was going kind of like his natural color for a while before he started bleaching it. I painted the wrist tape, because on the original figure they didn't do that for some reason, so I just took some black paint there and went around it. So yeah, swapped the head, painted the head. I left the tattoos alone. He comes with the elbow pad, which some Nash figures don't. Always pisses me off, so this one did. Thank you guys very much for that. And so I just painted over the singlet with some black, and then I very carefully, by hand, painted the red NWO, and then I just went over the interior with silver. Again, I did it all by hand. I don't use stickers or stencils or anything. So you get what you get with that, but allowing for the ab crunch crease there, I think it came out really awesome. I think it came out really great. And I think that's about as good as you can do freehand, I think. I don't know. Maybe you could do better. I challenge you to do better. I'd love to see it. I really would. And again, so I just painted the red stripe going down. It's already kind of got a little molded fringe. Again, if you wanted to, you could take some epoxy sculpt and like thicken that fringe up a little bit. You could actually put some rivets on the pants instead of just dotting them in paint. You know, like I said, if anything, those are guide points where I can stick them on later if I want to. But yeah, really awesome. I think this is one of the best figures that I've done because it was so quick and easy to do. This took me like no time at all, a couple hours, not even. Then you just wait for it to dry and boom. So yeah, I don't think it gets much better than that. So we're going to come back in a minute and we're going to see how he looks compared to some of the other Nash figures that Jakks put out in different scales, just real quick for comparison's sake. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys like this. This is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, like I said, this is just about as good as it gets to me. So we're going to see some of the official Nash figures that came out and see how mine stacks up compared to theirs. Let's check it out in just a minute. Alright, so we're taking a look here at my custom Halloween Havoc 96 Kevin Nash versus TNA Jakks Legends of the Ring Kevin Nash. Now, right away you'll see one of the reasons why I made this figure with a Deluxe Aggression body instead of a Ruthless Aggression body is just because you get a better sense of scale. Like, Nash is really tall. I've met him a bunch of times and he's huge. So even when I'm doing a display with my Ruthless Aggression scale figures, I still like to have guys like Nash be in their Deluxe Aggression scale because you get them like as tall as you could possibly get him. Plus you get the extra articulation, which he doesn't really need, but it's always cool to have anyway. So this is custom. This is right out of the box. Now, they're both great figures, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, even being just a hair shorter and less articulated, I love this figure. He's going to get his own review one of these days. This was based on a roughly 2003, during his first TNA run, Kevin Nash. Got the goatee there, red letters on the shirt. You see the tattoo. I love how by that point, Jakks was actually bothering to give him the tattoo all the time, because on a lot of the WWE Nash figures, they didn't bother giving him the tattoo, and it used to piss me off. So that's cool that they went to that trouble there. So again, they are almost the same size, but you can see that the Deluxe Aggression body obviously is taller, which I think works best for Kevin Nash. But this one is really good too. Great try on that. You know, if you're doing strictly a Ruthless Aggression scale display, this is one of the best Kevin Nash figures. And if you don't like the head, you can switch it. I'm going to get me another one of these figures to do Mini Vegas out of one day. I'm definitely going to do that because it's perfect for that. You just paint it black, and I'm going on. We're going to be back with another little comparison, but yeah, I mean, this is so cool seeing them together like this. Like, it's like an evolution type deal. Love it. I'm always doing shit like this. Alright, we're going to come back. Just hang out. Alright, so now what we see here is the Outsiders 2-pack Kevin Nash that Jakks put out as an exclusive set versus my custom Halloween Havoc 96 Kevin Nash. So again, we have Deluxe scale versus Ruthless Aggression scale, so obviously mine is going to be almost half a head taller. Aside from that, I think the Diesel head is still much more accurate likeness, even though I get what they were going for with this Kevin. You know, it's weird though, because they have like a 1998-99 likeness on his Outsiders body, which is, you know, interesting, but he didn't really wear that outfit too much by the time he had the long blonde hair and everything. But still, it's a pretty good figure, but I honestly think my custom looks better, not just because of the articulation and the being taller. I think the face is a little more accurate. They did some weird things. They give him the black glove, even though that was only a Diesel thing. He never did that in WCW. They give him 2 elbow pads, which I don't know why. He only wore the one. And they give him the small elbow pad, whereas mine has the large elbow pad. You remember, he always had that big, thick pad on his elbow. So, I don't know. I'm a stickler for little details like that. But, yeah, I like both of these figures. But what I plan to do, actually, is recreate this figure on another one of these. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to paint it to look like this one. Just to get it a little bit more accurate as far as the height and the face. You know, I think it'll look a little bit better. But still, yeah, this came with the Outsiders 2-pack, and it's a pretty cool figure. I like it. But when I got done making this one, it replaced this one in my display. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just he's kind of too short. I mean, especially in the Outsiders 2-pack. The Scott Hall figure is taller than the Kevin Nash, which is, Jakks was really ridiculous with that kind of stuff. So that's another reason why when I like to do my Kevin Nash displays, I like to use this size body, because he towers over everybody else, and that's how it should be. We got a little bit more to look at just for fun. We're going to be back in a second, but yeah, so we got the Outsiders Nash versus Halloween Havoc 96 Nash. Once again, I kind of biased here, but I think mine looks a little bit better. We'll be back with a little bit more. Check it out. Alright, so you can't have one without the other. This is how I display my Outsiders on my shelf. The late, great, wonderful, amazing Scott Hall. This is the figure that came with the aforementioned Outsiders 2-pack with the red Outsiders Kevin Nash that I just showed you. So this is a really good Outsiders Hall figure. It could have a little more detail. The face is great. They actually used, this is a Ruthless Aggression body, but they used the head from the Deluxe Aggression Scott Hall figure, so that's why it looks a little larger than it should. But I mean, some of the Jakks figures were a little bit caricaturized anyway, so it kind of works for him. It's better than the Razor Ramon figure's head was, at any rate. It's got a much better likeness, much better mullet. The vest is almost perfect. Doesn't say Outsiders on the back, but Jakks was known for skipping those little details, unfortunately. I don't dig the plain red shorts with just Hall on the front, but it is what it is. The pads, the elbow and knee pads look fantastic. It's a really great Scott Hall. So it came in the set with this figure, and they look pretty good together. You know, they do look pretty good together. But again, if you notice, Hall is actually the taller one, and that's kind of messed up, because it's not supposed to be like that at all. But so then you just kind of get this guy in there, and it's a whole different game. You know, like this one's okay. I still keep him around. It's good for that, but like this just to me looks a lot better and more in sync. You know, again, that's why I made this custom particularly, is because it kind of fixed a lot of the problems I had, all the little nitpicky problems with all the other Kevin Nash figures. I have a lot more Kevin Nash figures, and again, they range from really good to terrible, but yeah, this was one that Jakks didn't give us, and so I went ahead and did the work, and like I said, you can too, really easily, and look how good it goes with your outsider set, right? Like, that is A+. We're going to be back. We got to do one more thing. I think you probably know what it is, but we're going to be back in a second, and we're going to wrap it up with a little bit more. Hang in there. Hang in there. I'm having fun. Are you having? I'm having fun. New world order. Here we go. We have the original trio. We have Hollywood Hulk Hogan, center stage, NWO World Champion brother. We have the bad guy, Scott Hall, and of course, completing the evil trio, my custom NWO Halloween Havoc 1996 Kevin Nash. I think it goes great with the other figures, really do. That is so cool to see. That's what I wanted to see, you know. That, and Mattel gave us these figures, and they look even better than these Jakks ones do. I hate to say it, but it's true. But yeah, I think that mine mixes great with the originals. That's why I did it. It's a hole in the Jakks collection that I felt needed to be filled. I went ahead and filled it. Like I said, you can do it really quickly with just a diesel head, deluxe Kevin Nash body, and a little bit of Tester's paint. That's what I usually use, Tester's model paint. You get some black and red silver, and you just go nuts. You know, it shouldn't take you long at all. Look how good that looks next to Hollywood and Scott Hall. That's great, man. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Wait, but there's one little thing missing we're going to have to come back to in just a second, because you notice everybody else got their gear on, right? Okay, so there's one thing missing, and Nash doesn't have his vest. We're going to have to fix that. We'll be back in just a second, and we're going to take a look at that, and I'll tell you how. We're going to cover all the bases. You think I forgot? No, I was just saving it. We're going to be right back. Alright, so now the look is complete. Custom NWO Halloween Havoc 1996 Kevin Nash with entrance vest. Check that out. That is actual faux leather with custom little metal trinkets on there, little deco. I got this from Ralph's Figure Clothing. You can look them up online. I did a video about them before. This is one of many things I picked up from them because they have a ton of shirts, jackets, vests, all kinds of stuff for your Hasbros, your Mattels, your Jakks, all those figures. So I knew when I did this figure I needed to give him a vest just to complete the look, and nothing you got from Jakks really looked as good, so I went ahead and ordered this. It wasn't expensive. I think it was like $10 or somewhere in that area, and as you can see, it looks really great. It's very close to what he wore a lot of the time, and I think it just really makes the whole thing come together really well, and especially when you have them posed with your other NWO figures, Hollywood Hogan, Scott Hall, you know, when they have their gimmicks on, and it just looks really cool, man. And you know, check them out, ralphsfigureclothing.com, and you can get stuff like this for your Nash, Psycho Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, you know, a lot of guys wore vests like that, and you know, I think added to the paint job and the hair coloring, I think this is a really awesome Kevin Nash, if I do say so myself. Again, it was a lot of fun to make this figure, and I hope you really like it, and I hope you're inspired to go do one of your own. I think this is a really easy figure to do. I think it's really easy to do. It's fun, and you know, it takes like an hour to do the paint. Just dig into it, man. You know, these are easy figures to find loose, and they're not too expensive, and the paint is cheap. What are you waiting for, man? Customs are fun. So we're going to wrap it up in just a second, but so far so good, man. I thank you for sticking with me. We're just going to wrap it up and say goodbye in a heartbeat. Hang in there. Well, that's about Gonna wrap it up here on Custom Corner, Rikki Roxx retro action figure review and custom figure. Damn, man, this is so cool. I love having my figures together like this. You know, I got a lot more Kevin Nash figures, but even just having these three right here together is awesome. And you got three similar but distinct looks. And even just looking at these three, right, I'm inspired to do more custom Kevin Nash figures. I want to take the head from this guy and I want to make Vinny Vegas. I want to take this figure and I want to redo it in this style with just different paint. I know they have Deluxe Aggression Kevin Nash figures in red, so that's an easy custom to do with like even less paint than this one. Oh man, dig it, bro. That's awesome. So yeah, this figure was a lot of fun to do. Dig it, check it out for yourself. Go to Ralph's Figure Clothing to get the vest. To see how much better that looks than that, I dig this the most, man. I'm all about that. They didn't even put decoration on this one. He never wore a plain vest. He always had something on there. So I think this one's ahead on points. I'm biased, what can I say? I worked hard on it, even though it didn't take me a lot of work or a lot of time. But Nash is one of my favorites, so I knew I had to do this one right, and I think it came out awesome. Hopefully you think the same. We're going to check it next time From the Vault and Custom Corner. Believe me, there's going to be a lot more custom figures to take a look at before we're over with and done. But for now, Rikki Roxx, God of Thunder, and Lord of Rock and Roll, custom action figure novice, but I'm good sometimes, right? So this one was just too sweet. We're going to check you next time on From the Vault. We're going to take it home, and if you can't be good, be bad, baby. We'll see you next time.